Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Harpreet Singh, and with me is Gudmundsson, and I'm excited here to discuss how AI and AR are transforming automotive customer engagement. Let's have a quick look at what we're going to cover today. So we all are aware that buying a car meant going to dealership, flipping through the catalogs, but today customers are expecting a digital experience, just like how Netflix has changed how we watch the movies. And automotive industry, I think it's having its own Netflix movement. And Tesla is a great example. Uh, they have completely redefined how people buy cars today. So let me introduce you to our panelists. Joining us today is Stefan Gudmundsson. He has over 30 years of experience with Volvo, Hyundai, and Sony. He's an industry expert and an automotive advisor for the Audix Labs. Also with us is Manish, who heads Audix Labs Automotive Business Unit with over 25 working years with Honda, Toyota, BMW, and he's an expert in automotive tech transformation. So over the next 45 minutes, we will discuss the key challenges, real-world use cases, and take your questions. And I'll encourage each one of you to enter your questions in the Q&A section, any suggestions that you may have, and we'll try to address and take them up at the end of this discussion. So let's get started here. Stefan, I know you've been watching this industry evolve over a period of time over the years. What is keeping the dealership and manufacturers up at night when it comes to meeting the customer expectations?
Sure, that's a good question. I would say one of the biggest challenges is keeping up with customer expectations that is changing quite rapidly at the moment. Consumers are used to seamless online experience, like you order groceries, you try on glasses, you look at furniture in AR, VR, and that needs to be extended into the car as well. However, a lot of these dealerships still operate like it's 2000. While the customer actually expects some form of 2025 level experience at this point in time.
Exactly. And Harpreet, I think I would like to add to what Stefan mentioned. It's not just the purchase anymore. It is about the evolving customer expectations, and that have changed dramatically over the years. When someone buys the car today, they expect it to be as intelligent, as connected as their smartphone. And, they need everything, including the real-time updates, the predictive maintenance alerts, notifications, personalized insights, and also everything into their smartphone. So integration with smartphone becomes essential. They would like the experience to be very much smarter, very smooth. And today we are making cars more communicative, and honestly, it's fun to own.
Yeah, thanks, Manish. And Stefan, you've seen the industry transform over the years. What is the difference now with AI in the mix?
Sure, it's a game changer in many aspects. Right? It's for once, it's revolutionizing vehicle maintenance and how you interact with customers, and even how you interact with your vehicle itself. So, as an example, our automotive intelligent assistant, Mia, it can act as an in-car mechanic and a co-pilot. You can also have it in your phone, so that if you're sitting somewhere else and say, hey, how much range do I have left, right? So it doesn't matter if you're in the car or outside of the car to have that support. You can alert drivers to warm brake pads, inefficient driving habits. Hypermiling is quite popular. You can predict and prevent problems before they occur, and tune your car to whatever preferences the customers may have. So the AI actually learns these user preferences, and as Harpreet opened with, it's much like a Netflix recommendation that can be made.
So, how are customers and dealership responding to AI-powered car buying, and how is AI and AR revolutionizing the sales process?
Okay, yeah, I can continue there. So customers configure their cars or can configure their cars via augmented reality and virtual reality, and they can see them on screen or in their driveway or in any other setting that they may like before even visiting a dealership. So what this leads to is a few things: more confidence in their purchase decisions, a shorter and more efficient sales process, and it's more like trying on clothes or glasses virtually before buying. Our customers would then feel better about their choices.
Exactly. I think one thing is that when I sit working with dealerships and I see the impact, it is really huge. We see the sales team are handling twice the number of customers today with half of the effort, especially when it comes to selling the cars or selling whatever automotive vehicle that they are doing. Uh, and it keeps bringing me some of the examples from my past experience. Supra Boats, which is a Tennessee-based wake boat manufacturer, they were using this tool that basically was given in the hands of the prospective users that would have the boat configurator and the tour that they can take sitting in the comfort of their homes, where they can look at different options, whatever are available on the boats, all the different colors. They can configure it while sitting in their home environment. They can establish communication with the dealers and be able to negotiate on different components, pricing, so on and so forth. Uh, and also imagine that all the data that is getting there, it really helps OEM to understand what customer really wants. Uh, so that basically is a game changer.
Yeah, it is amazing how AI and AR are shaping customer experience in ways we couldn't have imagined a decade ago. And I'm actually reminded of a quote from Oscar Wilde: "I can resist everything except temptations." And then when people see the dream car in AR, well, I think the temptation wins every time. And now I've heard both of you mention AR a few times, and when combined with AI, some kind of magic happens. Manish, can you please throw some light on how automotive smart agent AMIA fits in here?
Yeah, sure. Let me share what EMEA is. Stefan just mentioned that in the call. And I assume that most of us on the call have already seen the movie Iron Man. Imagine talking to your car like Tony Stark talks to Jarvis in the Iron Man. That is what EMEA is. I would say that it is your AI powered personal assistant that gives information about your vehicle. I mean, to the smallest level of detail, optimizing the performance as well as enhancing your ownership experience. When I look at EMEA, what it offers, it actually listens to your concerns or your queries. It sees, as in gives you an interface to be able to scan any part of your vehicle, understand it, understand if there are any issues, and give the right of information to you, and save you lot of time and the hassle of searching the information either online or looking into your manuals. So imagine that you have a digital assistant that you can rely on, like a very good friend, right? That talks to you, that understand your language, and basically gives the recommendation. And I have an example where we really implemented to one of the OEM, where the riders are riding the bike, and suddenly there is a DTC code that appears on the display unit. Now the DTC code could be your ABS is not working properly, or the battery life is not right. What you do at that point of time is basically the rider get anxious. You have a EMEA in your hand, scan it, scan the code. The solution would tell you what the issue is. Is the severity of issue is really serious, or can that be attended later? And if it is something that need to be taken to dealership, it also would tell you what are the nearest dealership that are there and help you set up the appointment with the nearest dealerships. So that is the kind of experience that EMEA provides. So it helps you with predictive as well as preventive maintenance and enhancing the ownership experience, Harpreet.
Thanks, Manish. So how is AI transforming the automotive industry, particularly in tackling maintenance and support challenges that you mentioned? Just these kind of challenges in your EMEA description.
See, in terms of support, as I feel, looking at all the scenarios that we handled in the automotive industry, one of the things that uh, really stands out with AI is basically making the interactions really smarter and much more intuitive. And I have an example that I would like to share with you, but I would like to also hear the experiences from our audience. If they can put that in the chat, where they have seen those experiences with the smart vehicle features, or how AI has improved certain scenarios. They can share with us in the chat. One scenario that I would like to share from my personal experiences, we were getting for one of the EV bike manufacturer, we were getting a lot of issues that were reported by the bike riders, specifically because an EV bike owner would always be anxious about the mileage that they would get with a certain specific charge percentage, or how much they should charge, when they should charge while they are riding. All of those scenarios that comes into their mind. And a lot of times it happens that they raise a ticket, they would get an answer from the support team after 12 hours or after 8 hours, whatever the scenario may be. In this case, we provided them with an entire knowledge base, an AI model that would understand their issues and give them the right and real responses in near real time, helping them troubleshoot, give them guidance and personalized support as and when they need it.
The turnaround time in terms of getting the information real time is one thing, and then reducing the load on the support calls that you
Exactly.
made. Right. And Stefan, what is your take on this?
Sure. I think what Manish just said is true. If you unpack it a little bit, you can reduce it down to that AI reduces manual customer support in terms of manpower and so forth, while gathering actionable insights for the customers, dealers, and OEMs. So AI helps customers and businesses to make smarter decisions around their vehicle. And if anybody have any kind of smart feature that they value in your car, just share that in the chat with us, and it would be interesting to see.
Yeah. So we know now that AI is a powerful tool, but when you add AI into the picture, it gets even better. Manish, can you explain the combination, how this is making things more personal for end customers?
Yeah, absolutely, Harpreet. See, AR lets customer see the options in, I would say, in real time, which is really exciting. But when AI steps in, it takes the things at the next level. AI understand, what customer needs are, what is where their interest lies. They understand their behavior patterns, also their budget in terms of, and then uh, basically would give you very personalized options and be able to present different comparison between different features available. AI can make the tailored suggestions for the customer around customer needs and aspirations, I would say, repeat.
Hmm. And Stefan, can you share your views on how does AI make AR/VR configurators more personal and appealing?
Yeah, sure. So normally what you have is just a stitched together pieces of photos that's very, very hard to maintain. But in this case, we don't even have pictures. It's a fully rendered model with textures and the correct behavior that you can actually go into and sit in if you wanted to virtually. So in this case, the AI acts like a smart shopping assistant. It recognizes your needs based on prompts or guidance or whatever you ask it, and what you want and what are your interests. If you're a mountain biker, you may want to have an off-road package or something like that. And then it analyzes your intended usage and your preferences in terms of trim levels or colors or leather, whatever it might be, and suggests then relevant features and packages, simplifying the decision-making quite significantly. So, for instance, it could come back to a black car with off-road towing capability as a basic requirement. So instead of having overwhelming choices, customers are now presented with personalized recommendations. And of course, this increases confidence in the purchase and reduces buyer's remorse because you can actually think about this for a little while.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so it's not about just looking at a car, it's about getting smart recommendations along the way, right?
That is correct, Harpreet. AR, as I see it, basically it helps you help you see it, but then AI really helps you choose it. Together they make the car both selling as well as owning experience much more personal and enjoyable, I would say.
Okay. So we talked about, from the customer point of view, from OEM point of view. Now, how is AI and AR transforming the dealership interaction with the customers?
I can take that. See, AI and AR, when they are combined, they significantly transform how dealership interact with the customers, making the experience much more personalized, efficient, and engaging. And I have few examples in my mind. One where when I look back, I know that BMW quite recently they established virtual and interactive showrooms, and they were providing immersive experience using AR, VR, and they brought AI in the picture where they were giving simulated real world experiences with different kind of driving conditions. That's one. Other is basically AI driven personalized customer engagement where it understands the customer behavior, it understands the preferences, it knows the budget, it knows the browsing habits, and and it provides basically the tailored recommendations on different kind of vehicle models, financing options available, if there are any promotions that are going on, what kind of budget they are looking at, so on and so forth. And together, these not only basically are focused at making the ownership experience or a buying experience smoother. It from the OEM side of the word or dealership side of the word, it makes selling process much more faster and smarter, because it helps in the understanding the leads, scoring them, giving the right data to the sales personnel of the high intent buyers, um, allowing the dealership to close the deals faster.
Thanks, Manish. And how does integrating AI and AR transform the vehicle buying experience for both customers and dealers, Stefan?
Sure. Focus on those two. I would say that for customers, the AI-powered configurators just simplify the decision-making. It takes the pain out of it. And real-time interactive suggestions and choices that you can make and go back and forth. For the dealership, then it's customer arrive informed. They know what they want. This reduces consultation time and increases the chance of a sale because they already have all the data once you get there. And for post-sale, the AI tools like AMEA, they simply enhance the ownership experience during your time with the vehicle, And that would also then foster brand loyalty. If you like this, then you don't want to swap it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So we talked about how EMEA enhances the customer experience, but let's look at the business side. What kind of benefits or do OEMs and dealership get using EMEA?
Yeah, I think that's a interesting question. I can take it, Harpreet. Um, One really big advantage that I can see is cost saving. I mean, for OEM, EMEA takes a lot of pressure off the customer support teams by handling very common questions automatically, which otherwise would take a lot of time for the users to get the right information at the right time. That's one. And it makes the overall experience and brand value much more higher. The It also means that there are fewer repetitive inquiries for the staff and faster responses for the customer, making the experience very efficient.
Thanks, Manish. And Stefan, what is your opinion?
Yeah, similar to that, right? When you get a car, you don't just read the manual from cover to cover. You tend to
Yeah,
go back and ask. So what AMIA does is reduces the workload on customer support teams, including dealers, by handling and even anticipating common inquiries that you may have. And then it would collect data on customer concerns, helping the OEMs identifying trends. So if everybody's asking, how does this work? Then maybe you have a design flaw that needs to be updated in some form. You can refine product offerings if people always search for a certain feature and function that's not present in all vehicles. It might be good to have that as a standard feature. So essentially, it saves cost while improving both the customer experience and the OEM long-term business strategy.
so it's saving money on support, enhancing the customer experience, and giving companies insights based on what they're interacting with using EMEA for to innovate and improve.
Yeah, that's right, Harpreet. It's about about working smarter, cutting the cost and improving the customer experience as well as the long-term business strategy.
Let's think about some real life use cases or examples on how have AI and AR solutions improved customer experience.
Sure. I've been part of implementing this for several vehicle manufacturers, and AR and AI are just not tech tools. They create real customer connections. So as an example, AMIA improves post-sale support with proactive and personalized assistance. How does the feature work? Resolving any concerns about should I be worried about this or that or this sound or whatever it is that you may have. And it really gives the customers the help before they even have to ask. And this would enhance satisfaction and loyalty.
And yeah, I think I completely agree with Stefan here. Um, when I see it, my journey, I mean, it has really been exciting. Um, More of seeing the real impact of the technology, it has been rewarding. And I can speak about some of the ROI that the technology has uh, driven for two examples. One for the Karma Automotive, which is based out of Irvine, California, where they have saw 24% increase in sales uh, based off the EMEA and the configurators that were delivered to them. And another for the boat manufacturer based out of Tennessee, they saw 20% boost in their sales. And thanks to that AR configurator, which had basically two different use cases bundled in it, one where it was used to help users or the prospective buyers use the technology to be able to configure it and establish the conversation with the dealership, making the sales process very seamless, fun, and engaging. Other, taking the tour in case you are not in the dealership, you don't want to configure, but you still want to understand all the features, functionalities that was in there. And I believe, Anshul, you have the video on the screen. Can you play the video to see this use case was showcased in the Surf Expo, and you can see for yourself, the wow factor it created at the expo in 2023. Anshul, if you would please run it for us. Yeah, thank you, Anshul. So you saw that in the beginning, the expressions on the guy's face. And so I would say that it was, at that time, it was a crowd puller. Um, and it delivered the wow factor. So Harpreet, what I was saying was that, the impact that this solution can deliver is immense.
Yeah, that's impressive. So just by giving customer more interactive way to experience the product, we're saying that the sales went up, right?
Exactly. When people see and personalize a product in real time, they feel more confident in their decisions. And the benefit doesn't stop at the sale. We also work with the same bike manufacturer to improve the post-sale support using EMEA, helping them understand about their vehicle, understand the issues, giving them personalized recommendations, assistance at the time when they need it. And basically, it's a tool that, as I was saying earlier, that sees the problem, it understands, it talks to you, and then give you the tailored recommendations or the right suggestions.
Yeah, that's a game changer. So it's not just about making the buying process smoother, it's about making ownership easier, enjoyable, and rewarding. Let's
Yeah.
move on. We have seen how AI and AR are already transforming the automotive experience. But let's look ahead. What do you think is the next big leap in enhancing the customer experience in this industry?
Yeah, see, the future is all about, creating a connected, fully connected ecosystem, I would say. One where every customer interaction, whether it is online or it is in person, is seamlessly linked. Imagine that all your preferences are stored in a virtual profile that sync across the board, across all touch points, brand touch points, right? Whether it is AR Configurator or is it EMEA or any third-party integration that you would have, but it is seamless across all touch points, and it basically drives a hyper personalized AI car assistant kind of experience for you. It is like delivering the interconnected experience, making the buying, selling, and owning processes smoother, much more intuitive, and more personalized.
Thanks, Manish. And Stefan, where do you think, or what is the next big leap in the customer experience from your point of view?
Yeah, adding a little bit to Manish there, I would say not only connected, but more immersive technologies. So you have a digital twin, so virtual car replicas updating in real time, so you can always get the status. Voice-based AI interactions. So same experience in the vehicle and a very similar one in the app. There might be certain things you can't do while you're away from your vehicle, but it should be the same type of interaction regardless of where you are. Now, some of the downsides to all of this could be maintaining sustainability and data privacy. that will be critical for customers to be comfortable with. Now, customers demand innovation, but also responsible data protection. Worst case scenario is that you leak a lot of these things, and that is not something that people take lightly these days. But companies prioritizing these areas will build stronger trust and loyalty.
Yeah, thanks, Stefan. So the future isn't about smarter technology; it's about making the entire experience seamless, secure, sustainable. Right?
That I would say is correct, Harpreet. It's about making technology work for the people in a way that feels natural and build the real connections.
Thanks, Manish. Stefan, Manish, this brings us to the end of what I have in my mind. I don't have any further areas. So, Stefan and Manish, thank you for your great insights. And now let's open the floor for questions. I'll hand it over to Anshul here. If you have any questions about AMIA or AR Configurator or the future of the automotive customer experience, please feel free to ask by entering that in the Q&A section. We'll try to address as much as we can. Over to you, Anshul.
Yeah, we have one question from the participant. Can AI and AR enhance the pre-owned car buying experience? If so, how?
Yeah, I can take that. When it comes to pre-owned buying experience, imagine why would anybody would like to buy a pre-owned car? Of course, there are various parameters. One is your budget, other is the availability, the choice. You don't have to wait for your type of the car for very long. And then, of course, as it comes in your budget, you would like to quickly grab it. So that is where I see that AR, AI, and technologies like AMIA would help a great deal because um, it would deliver the right kind of insights in terms of the car valuation uh, to the prospective buyers, where they can drive the pricing based on the market trends that are currently going on. Also, the looking at the history and the condition of the car, whether uh, it is a fair pricing or not a fair pricing. So basically, the approach is not really going manually looking at all the dealership, what kind of models are available, whether it is fitting in your budget, looking at your kind of the car, and then basically negotiating on the price. But rather than it is basically a data-driven pricing. And also imagine if all that is available for you to look at right at the comfort of your home and see all of this data, the pricing, the market trends, availability, how far it is from your home, all of that in one shot, sitting at your home. So, I mean, it really helps when we look at the pre-owned sales scenario.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Manish.
and I can add to that just a little bit that obviously the experience is a little bit different when it comes to aftermarket because you don't have that many choices. You're basically going through available inventory, and the AI can then help you guide through what might be the best choice of the available cars, and makes and models and colors that you have. You may not have a full rendering of these because we can't simply have every single vehicle fully rendered in the system, but we can do some, and then others sort of will be pictures and whatnot, the more traditional way. And if you combine that, if we would have access to a more general car data around this, we could also then go and look at the digital twin and say, oh yeah, it has no fault codes. It has been driven this far. That can confirm that. And if there are any other issues that the AI can anticipate at that point.
Thank you, Stefan. So we have another question from Greg. Is AMIA able to interact with my personal applications, such as my calendar? Here's the use case. To recognize in advance, I have an upcoming business trip that would require me to drive over 1,000 miles over 3 days, in which AMIA suggests predictive preventive maintenance prior to the start of my trip, reducing the risk of my maintenance or product failures while on the road. Or store my payment information and interact with various external services.
Right, and I can take that, Stefan, if you're okay. So, see, AMIA provides a lot of flexibility to be able to, one, um, integrate with the enterprise systems, integrate with third-party tools. It depends on what the use case is. In this case, you mentioned calendar. Well, yes, it has the calendar accessibility. It brings to my mind the memories from the Karma days few years ago. We basically delivered a use case where uh, the the solution that we delivered to them would open the calendar, look at your appointments, and basically be able to uh, give you the availability based on the calendar info. So yes, AMIA has that flexibility to be able to interact with your calendar, where it would also have um, capability to give you predictive and preventive maintenance insights before even you start your ride. And that is something that we are doing today for Livewire, that it basically tells you if all the components on your bike are in the healthy state, and if they require maintenance, is the maintenance going to be needed before you are planning to start the ride? I mean, you can look at all these parameters and not just rely on the scheduled maintenance calendar, but it would give you, predictive insights of if there is anything urgently required.
Manish, there's another
Yeah,
part to the
and
question.
I can just add to that. As for bikes, for instance, you do a pre-ride check. Now that can be done in the app. Basically, I have the correct tire pressure, I have enough charge, and I think the challenge comes into fully interacting with your calendar is to understand the intent. So there might be a combination of, yes, I know there's a trip coming up, but you may have to help the system a little bit by saying, okay, I intend to go this route. I'm using I-40 and to go here, and maybe even share a route that you may have looked at online directly with AMIA, and then you will have to be able to plan pit stops, or if you're going to have a maintenance issue along the way, if it's due for an oil change, then you can all spell all that out very simply.
There's a follow-up question on that. Not a follow-up, there's a part of the question. Does AMIA store the payment information to interact with external services?
Yeah, basically, so it depends on the type of use case that you are looking at. But if there is a use case that require you to store the payment information, that can be built in. Currently, it is not there, but yes, as I said, that it gives you a flexibility to be able to integrate across systems, across enterprise systems. In case payment information is required to be stored for certain scenarios, that can also be plugged in.
Yeah, a typical example of that is EV charging. At least there's a little bit of a standard, so you can interact with most of these through an app. And in that case, you may go to 5 different chargers along the line, and you can aggregate your account and have your payment information and preferences. Hey, pay as you go, pay on an invoice at the end, and whatever. Those are certainly things that are perfectly doable, and there's a need for them, especially in the EV world.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Manish. So one more question, and that's, can AI and AR enhance the pre-owned car buying experience? If so, how?
Yeah, I think Achal,
I think we did that.
we
Yeah,
did
so
that.
that's already covered. Yeah. What are the main challenges in training AI models for automotive customer support?
Yeah, I can take that. See, if I look back at some of the scenarios that we delivered, particularly one where we um, trained the AI model for helping customer support uh, deliver the right kind of experience to the end user. The challenges that you normally face in such kind of scenarios, one, uh, what are you looking at, what are your different data sources and how do you integrate that data? In this scenario, basically our challenge was to understand the data, getting it from multiple data sources, whether it is your Jira tickets that would have all the information about your, or any incident management tool for that matter, that would have details about all the user queries from the past 2 years, 3 years, so on and so forth. Then along that side, not only integration is one part, but also how do you maintain the sanctity of that data, that uh, because of course the data owners or the stakeholders would want to maintain the privacy of that data and also security bundled with it. You have to look at all those aspects. Then second is the quality of that data you are getting, whether from manuals or incident management tools, whether that quality is a desired quality or you'd like to do tweaking here and there. Also, there are then a lot of other factors playing, like your regional variation, language preferences. In one of the scenario, we had covered the support in 15 different languages. So because the vehicle was being launched in not only in US but in the countries like Sweden, several European countries, then China, so on and so forth. So all those language and regional variations play in. So you have to deal with that. Then of course, the personalization and the context awareness kind of issues that play in.
Yeah, and I would say the way I've approached this in the past is just identifying the data sources. You can have design information, you can have manuals, you can have instruction manuals, you can mine and anonymize your CRM system about different questions that come in and field issues, and bring all those together. So in the old paradigm of this, right, you could have an app and you would download a manual PDF or some form of ebook onto your phone, and you would start searching that. That can all be pre-done, and you can actually search for answers using voice or, as we said before, like on OCRing DTCs of an instrument, whatever it might be. So having some form of quality data to go into this process is, of course, very important.
So I think that's about it. Rest of the questions, we can answer in the mail. Send them on the mail, the replies. And thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Manish.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and thank you
Bye-bye.
for hosting
Cheers.
us, Harpreet.
Bye-bye. Cheers.